Cock 45 here.
Shots ring from the woods. Take on life is good. And it probably should. It's coming here in Nashville neighborhood. Life is good. He's always sitting down in the woods. He probably wouldn't really if he could. Life is good. He wouldn't really even if he could. Life is good.
Yes, Cock 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Tennessee on a Sunday morning. Yes, the home of, wow, Alvin York, Greg Allman, Beretta, and Smith & Wesson now. Pretty cool, huh? Lots of cool people live here. And a few dregs we'd rather not have, right? Like your neighborhood, your state, your county probably. That's what makes the world go round, all sorts of people, all right? Some folks don't really adapt to human life very well, we've noticed, haven't we? Yeah, well, yeah, I'm one to speak, right? But anyway, I try to behave myself at least, for the most part, obey laws, pay my taxes, be a good boy. A lot of people don't even try to do those things. So anyway, it's good to have you here on a Sunday and, shoot around a little bit, yak around a little bit, and have some fun. You notice what I had out here maybe? It's a revolver, I bet you could tell. And maybe you can tell from those cases, it's a 44 Magnum revolver. I haven't had this thing out for a good while. And I noticed it in the safe, digging around some other things, and it's cool. You know, when I posted the 686 revolver this week, 686-1, you better have seen that video. It was chapter 2. Somebody made a comment I saw that said there's just something about a revolver that makes for a more enjoyable day at the range or something like that. Just something special about a revolver. And it really is. It really is, as I've said before, or a lever gun or anything. And I think it's one reason, probably if we went back to the 103 Sunday shoot-arounds, it probably would be more revolvers I've brought out, I guess, than semi-auto pistols on Sunday shoot-arounds. Just when I come out to plink around, as I've admitted, I confess to, I generally enjoy shooting a revolver just to come out and plink around, relax. There's something about them that are more relaxing. Semi-autos are fun too, but I don't know. It's just like them, and you would too if you had one, and many of you do. So now that would be a tough choice if I had to choose between my last, narrow down all my revolvers to one. That would be the last one I would ever sell. And then all of my semi-automatic pistols down to one that I would ever sell. And then have to choose between those two for the rest of my life. That would really be tough, probably, right? So yeah, 44 Magnum Model 29, 629 specifically. How do you know that? Many of you do, because it's stainless. That means it's a 629. Otherwise, it's the same as a Model 29, right? Yeah, -1. So it's an early one. You notice the frame or the hammer-mounted firing pin, and have I laid it down. I try whenever I lay a gun down, pick it up. You want to check it, right? And it's the cylinder latch and everything from -1 character and pin barrel, yeah. And counterboard recessed chambers. So this is early. They were still doing that up until like 80 or 81, and even when they started making stainless revolvers, Smith & Wesson. But it's not as common to find a stainless old Smith that's pinned and recessed, but you do have that window of time there around when? You tell me 80, I don't think 79. When they make their first stainless 44 mag, The 66, 357 came out earlier than that, but the 44 mag, I think it was about 80 along in there, maybe 81, I don't know. But anyway, there's also about the time within that couple year window that they quit pinning the barrels and recessing the chambers on them too. So this one came from that time period. Like you wouldn't have to check the serial number and you would know, whoa, it must be an 81 model or 80 or 81. So, enough education, right? So I was shooting some of my hand loads. You think I should shoot some Magnum factory loads? Those are Magnums, but they're a lighter Magnum. In a 4-inch gun, it hurts. It hurts to shoot really hot Magnums. I don't care what Elmer Keith says and this is Elmer Keith's favorite configuration. That was a gun he carried a lot, 4-inch Model 29. Didn't have the stainless when he was around, I guess. When did he die? But as far as his carry gun, 4-inch Model 29 or 629. I should know that when he died. He was alive when I got him. Maybe it was 80, I don't know. I'll look that up. Y'all, somebody you know, share that tidbit with us. But got one lie I was going to tell you about it, but it's a very nice configuration, except it does recoil. That's what I was talking about. It does recoil more than a 6-inch or certainly an 8-inch barrel, right? So it's just what you got to live. The lead, didn't I? Keep the special cases separate because why? They're shorter, and you don't want to be hand loading and then you slide one in to load. What's wrong with this one? It didn't work right because the case was too short, right? You got your dies adjusted for Magnum, okay? And so those are much more pleasant to shoot. Still, you fired a big bore firearm. They're about comparable to a 45 ACP. Nobody considers 45 ACP a wimp round, right? So you put that in a gun like this, it's got a little bit of weight, and it's fairly comfortable to shoot. It's about right, because with a 4-inch, you do get more recoil, but it feels pretty good, okay? All right, pretty nice. What else? Well, we personally survived the tornado, and you might have seen my post on Facebook this week. I'm not sure how to post. I'm kind of Instagram dumb, or I've done the same thing on Instagram, but there are links all over the place. I linked on Facebook, Hickok 45 Facebook, about at least one place where you can donate for to Kentucky, and there's others, and whether you want to donate to Tennessee or to some blanket organization that works with all the states that were affected or whatever. But if you can help out, please do, because it's just absolutely devastating. I'm sure you've seen lots of the footage, right, in the news and pictures, and heard so many of the horror stories, and it's just terrible what those folks are going through. And you just want to cry when you see those people interviewed. And of course, that's why the news people like to interview them, right? But I mean, it really does. One lady was talking about how she was at her wit's end and she just wanted to go home, but she didn't have a home to go to, And I just, wow, no matter what's going on in your life, your hard time, you generally can, I'm just going home, hide from it or get some relief from whatever it might be or something. But your home's gone, it's blown up, So that was telling John, it's like a tornado is really like nature's form of terrorism. You come right down to it. There's it's like someone blows up your neighborhood or your house, and it comes suddenly. And that's the thing about tornadoes. Hurricanes can be really bad, but you almost always have warning at least, and you may lose your house and everything you own, but you often get like a week's notice or days, of it coming, or the potential, the way they track these things. Tornadoes, wow, especially in the middle of the night. It's odd. They're freaky. We had one come through here, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. It took out a cedar tree there, took the neighbor's barn out, came right up the county road, Brian, right, I guess, right. It took out two of his barns across the road, which are like 50 yards, from our house, and just weird. It was, I guess, a smaller tornado twister, Anybody got one of our big cedar trees there as you come in, but could have gotten our house. And that one was at night, and this one like about, well, I don't know what time, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 along in there. Some it depends on where you are in Kentucky or Arkansas, right, or Tennessee. But it was weird. I knew they were predicting storms. I don't think I knew they were talking about tornadoes when I went to bed. I went to bed kind of early and read for a while, and then I woke up at 2 o'clock, 2:10 for some reason. That whatever, Friday, Saturday morning, whatever, and Sunday morning, and I normally don't grab my phone. That's I just don't do that usually. But I was feeling kind of awake. I thought, should I get up and or read some more or something? And I grabbed my phone and checking weather, and because I guess I heard some wind, nothing dramatic, and I was checking it, and I saw that the radar, the satellite radar, I checked like I check all the time, and wow, I saw that string of naughty looking orange and red, clouds or whatever they do, stringing up from Texas or Arkansas all the way up right through where I live, right here, up in north of Nashville, and then Kentucky. I'm close to Kentucky, and I go, oh wow, that's coming right through us, whatever it is. It's because it was all red, and so I said, I'm just going to go ahead and get up, and got dressed, went in, turned on the local news, which I rarely do, to see if they were running a satellite. Sure they were, of course. All the local weather stations were on, and well, they were fired up, and found out that it had hit Arkansas badly, and I don't think it had hit Kentucky yet as far as that candle factor and all that, maybe, but not at, I don't know, 2. But anyway, I was watching it closely because it was coming, for us, and they were talking about all the swirling of tornado activity and everything within it, and the potential here and there in various areas, like a little bit south of us, a little bit north of us, and a little bit west of us, but really, really bad looking stuff. And there'd already been tornadoes touched down and everything. And they were supposed to hit us by about 3 o'clock, 3:10 or something, 15. So I was glad I got up. I said, well, okay, if we get blown away, it's going to happen, by 3:30. And so I kept a very close watch on it. I took some stuff to the basement, and I just thought, my wife was awake, and I told her we may need to be heading to the basement here in about 30 minutes, and I was keeping an eye on it on the news, and anyway, we sort of got in a little bit of a gap where I live, and the worst part was just north of us a little bit, and then south of us, and in the county I live in, got hit pretty badly, part of the county, and then south of Nashville, and just weird places, and then of course worse north, and it just dragged on through. So it was a hairy moment or a period of time for us, but we didn't get hit. In fact, it didn't even come up with that strong a wind right where I live, so it was you just never know. But after that other one had come through, you think, well, I thought it was pretty much a safe zone, out where I live. It's kind of in the hills. It's a hilly country and different things. You tend not to get as much of them in that area, but lately we have. And well, and you saw how bad it was up in Kentucky. But anyway, it's just, it really is like a terrorist attack. And especially in the middle of the night. How many of the people that died or lost their homes were, and everything they owned maybe, were asleep when it hit, or just didn't get up in time, when they heard it. It's really a crazy thing. It really is. It's nature's form of terrorism, and it's bad. It's really bad. So anyway, any way that you can help, it's that's what we're so good at. And I just dropped 2 bullets in the leaves I'll have to find. Is just helping out in case, like, and everybody helps a little bit. They chip in $50 or 100 or whatever they can afford, and it makes a huge difference. That link I posted on Facebook, the Team Kentucky something, And I heard the governor talking about it this week, and he was pointing out that none of the money you donate goes to administration. And I guess they're covering all that, and it all goes to the people that need the help. So that's one reason I posted that particular link, and hopefully they're truthful about that. And I'm sure there's others, if you prefer to donate to the Red Cross or whatever organizations you like or hate. But anyways, want to bring that up. Bad situation. A lot of people in really desperate situations right here at Christmas time. Anytime it's bad, really bad. Can I shoot? Yeah, I just feel very, very fortunate. Here I stand, able to enjoy this firearm, today, instead of my house being strung out all over the place and everything I own blown away to who knows where, 30 miles away. And maybe me being in the hospital or gone or whatever. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to be ready for anything, right? And some things, it's hard to be ready for it. Like I say, it's hard to prepare for those kinds of things. I had a scanner for a long time, and I set it to the weather one night. I set it on the first night. I set the weather thing on, the weather alert. And I think that was after one of the tornadoes back, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. We had one come through Nashville. It was pretty bad. And so I got that thing set on weather alert. And I'll be darned if the first night I turned it on, middle of the night, that thing starts coming on, making crazy noise, waking me up, waking my wife and me up and everything. And I go down and listen to it. It's a flash flooding down in Antioch, Tennessee or somewhere, you're like 45 miles from me. Somebody's having a flash flooding problem. I said, well, I'm sorry for those folks, or the flash flooding potential, or whatever it said. But, so I was into that. And that's just the way everything is. Everything is an alarm, and there's always something you can be alarmed about, and so there's always a chance, I could just see every night, chance of hail in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Be sure to move your car or something, whatever. So anyway, I quit doing that. It's just best. It's pretty easy to keep up with what the potential is anyway, what's supposedly coming through, right? The weather forecasters are not exact, but they generally can warn us if something has potential. In fact, they love that, and if anything, they're going to overdo that. They're going to let us know if there's a chance of a tornado, right? So, or snow. That's how they get their views. All right, let's shoot this thing. Let me hit the gong. Is that okay? Am I turned on? Yeah, am I recording? Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Oh man, let's shoot a bowling pin first. Warm up on a bowling pin. Sweet sound. Well, there's a target or two right there. Whoop. Got them all. Oh, tore up the target. That's what a Magnum will do for you. Click. All right. Those were my moderate Magnums. Oh, I've not fired, have I? Did I fire? No, I didn't yet. Okay, I'll do that. I'll fire the factory Magnums here in a second. Oh yes, can't keep my brass separated here. That looks like a special because it is a Magnum. Yeah, usually I can spot them. Yeah, those are specials. All right. So what else did you want to know about? Well, I've been doing some loading, as I talked about last week, and I thought I was just going to load some 45 Colt, some lead bullets, get some lead bullets around just like this, so I can plink with some lead occasionally, especially in old Colts, right? And then I got into, after I caught up with what I had in terms of primers and everything, I got into some 4570 and loaded some of that this week. So I got some lead 4570 loaded up, and So it's nice. I've now got the jacketed that we get from Federal, and the same with 45 Colt, the jacketed and the lead bullets. So it's good. And I always have. I just was getting low on the lead. So that's nice. And I might even venture into some more 44, which I will. Magnum. How's that? Yeah, I think Federal's taking pretty good care of us on 44 Special, 44 Magnum jacketed rounds, so we're pretty good there. And which is a problem, I know. I keep hearing people, ironically, some of the revolver rounds, like 38 Special, 357, are the hardest to come by. And it's a crazy time right now that this ammo shortage is so bad and prolonged, depending on what caliber you're talking about. But again, it is a lesson for everybody. I've had this lesson so many times, even as dumb as I am. I have been through so many, I don't know what you call it, not gun shortages, yeah, really, but ammo shortages and firearms scares and that kind of thing, that you just finally wake up and realize, when I go to pick up a box of ammo to go to the range, I might want to pick up 2 or 3 and just have a little bit built up, and just when there is no shortage, when there's no problem. And those days will come back, and then just make sure you got a little bit ahead, okay? That's just common sense, just like you do with anything. Hopefully in your house right now, apartment, wherever you live, if it's under a bridge or it's in an apartment or in your own home or whatever it is, you have a little extra water, a few cans of soup or tuna or something in our unstable world, so that you could get by if you couldn't leave the house for a week, maybe a month, something happened, and there'd be no need to leave the house. There's nowhere to go, no electricity or whatever the situation might be. That's just good common sense, okay? And to be a little bit of a prepper when it comes to ammo, and you won't get caught this way as badly, but it is bad time, no doubt about it. So, okay, I know you're waiting for me to break my hand with some of these Magnums. I'll shoot 6, okay? It's a double action revolver. It's loading 6 or 5, doesn't make any difference. It's so single action, old style, that you have to be careful with. All right, this is a jacketed Federal soft point. And they hurt. They hurt a little bit in this 4-incher. Smiths are not as heavy as a Ruger anyway, and they're not as bulky. And you get down into 4-inch models, you got, that's one thing I like about them. You got a streamlined, nice little revolver, but don't have a lot of weight. And you get these barrel lengths. Okay, let's see if I can stand a couple of these. All right, let's pick on Mr. Hog. Ouch. How about Mr. Cowboy, since we have this? Woo! Let's try Mr. Gong. I'm not sure if the hold will be different, but all right. Ouch. Held a little bit lower probably. Let's see if it'll break a 2-liter. That hurts. I'm going to let those other 2 for later. All right. I think partly because it's chilly and cold too. Well, my hands are dirty. I've been hand loading some. So yeah, these are a great 44 Special, moderate Magnum. Then you get into hotter Magnums. Wow. Now, if you're out, in the woods and you got your bear load in here and you got something, hotter in the gun, you want to know where it prints and how to shoot it and what it's going to feel like, as I have advocated, before. And that's why I like to shoot some hot stuff, even in the 4-inchers and the 3-inchers, just so you know the feel, you know where it's going to hit, and you're ready. If you're going to carry anything, you're going to carry any ammo, any firearm, you need to be familiar with where it's going to put the bullet, right? All right. So anyway, nice gun. This is a sweetie. Yeah, it really is. Pin barreled, old this is a dash. There's not a dash. This is a no dash. 629. That's right. It makes sense because it was early 629. And man, I got that in, what year was it? It was around, I don't know. Let's see. I remember John was really young. Might have been like, it was probably the early 90s, really early 90s, and it was unfired. It was new, so new in the box basically. So it's not new now, but it's in good shape. I keep it in good shape. I bring it out and fire it, exercise it every now and then, and do my best. Oh man, let's see. Do we want to get into politics at all? Well, no, we don't really get into politics. We just get into freedom politics, right? One of my favorite movies I saw this week, they're trying to cancel it. Somebody is, It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. And I thought, yep, that figures. That figures. They try to cancel like everything. And you notice it's most often something that's famous, something that's really beloved. Whatever. Now, you may not like the movie It's a Wonderful Life. It is a little hokey, I know. It's just a tradition. I like to watch it every Christmas. But as I growed up with it. But you hear the reason that somebody is out there, think about it, to cancel, whatever that means, It's a Wonderful Life or Dr. Seuss or anything like that. It's just like something that's a part of Americana. What's this? They'll be trying to cancel Chevrolet next week or something like that. Well, think about it. If you're I don't know, a pathetic, lame, never done much in your life, troll kind of person, you live on the internet or something, and you never really done anything. Don't plan to ever do anything significant. Your claim to fame is being able to get attention by latching on to the fame of something else like that, something way bigger than you. You gain immortality that way. If I can criticize one of the most classic movies of all time, if I can criticize Elvis, or whatever. I can get some dirt on Elvis or just something. That will give my life meaning. People will look at me. I will be significant in this world, right? So if you're going to cancel somebody, you want to cancel somebody that's doing something, has done something, or something that's well known, that people like. That's how you get your attention. You get to virtue signal on a super level, right? Does it make sense? And people are getting wise to that. There's so many folks who have written about that, commented on it. It was Dave Rubin or anybody, Gutfeld, Tucker Carlson, all the people who, for their living basically, and their life's work is kind of revealing the idiocy in the world. So it's not a big secret, but it's good that we stay reminded of it, I think, is so that we just look at that stuff and laugh and think, what a pathetic person that is, what a pathetic person we got there. And I mean, when you think about it, there are a lot of people on the planet whose job, they don't really do anything. They've not created anything. They just comment on what's going on in the world and point out things like this. And the media, much of the media, of course, does that. And so it's a great way to virtue signal by just acting like you are the one who is taking care of the world and pointing out these sorts of things. It's your claim to fame, immortality, and your connection with divinity. You are like a god. You are the one who sees this. We're just trying to help people. The news station, I've noticed this for decades. So I was, something fake about this, even before people started talking about the fake news and all that, long before all that. We have a station here in the Nashville area, Middle Tennessee, Channel 4, that It used to be my station of choice back in the 70s and 80s. They had some great people there, Dan Miller and others. Some of you might remember if you're local. But they've become more woke, I think, than all of them now. But I don't know, their little slogan is it's Channel 4, so it says, "We're for you," kind of thing. And all the stations do that, don't they? We're for you. We're looking out for you, and we're revealing all the corruption or whatever it might be. And sometimes they do good work in that area, but it's like we are really special. We are taking care of you. We're just looking out for you. We're trying to make you safe. It's like when they get into whatever masking policies and weird things like that, and just to be safe, and how you can be safe, and we're just trying to make you safe. We want to make you aware of how you can be safer, be a safe citizen, or whatever it might be. So they're mainly just super virtue signalers, and just again remind yourself of that whenever you hear some of the things you hear and some of the craziness that comes around. It comes, I think, mostly, it's opinion, but it's not just my opinion, but much of it just comes from people who have this big hole in themselves they're trying to fill. And, this kind of super virtue signaling just is just really a therapy for them, and often it makes no sense. Makes no sense in the real world, does it? So just be aware of that. Remember that, okay? and laugh at it. Laugh at it. Just want to remind you of that. There's a comment too. I've been seeing, and maybe y'all can help me. I don't know if it's a quotation from a movie. I'm usually slow on that kind of. But if I see it, the phrase or whatever you use, I'll got a little bit of brain power. I can kind of figure out, okay, that must be a line from a movie or a video game. There have been so many times over the years where somebody will say something, leave a comment, and it will seem really inappropriate or really smart aleck or something, or they're some major insult or to somebody. But I realize, and I see it a few times, that's just a line from some video game. They're just being silly. But what it is on the muzzle loaders, the Civil War rifles, I've been seeing this line occasionally, just what the Founding Fathers intended. Just what the Founding Fathers intended, unless it's the same person. But I've seen that several times, and I'm not sure what that comes from. I think the first time I saw it, I may have answered somebody, because it seemed to be a statement about how these are the guns that we're supposed to be allowed to have, muzzle loaders, just what the Founding Fathers intended. In other words, implied is they did not intend for us to have revolvers like this or semi-automatics or AR-15, all that sort of thing. Because that's one of the arguments, right, that you hear. The Founding Fathers didn't expect us to have semi-automatic Glocks, right? Well, we'll talk about that. Let's shoot some more first. How about a bullseye? I did it. Filthy. I hate those propane tanks. Let's shoot him in the butt. Click. Yeah. But I think I was reading too much into it. That is a common impression some people have, mostly, anti-gunners. They probably don't even believe it, and they probably even know that's stupid. That's the one thing you got to keep in mind. Some people know better. They just intentionally act as though they don't, because they can feel like they might fool some people. Some folks will fall for it. But think about how dumb that comment would be. I don't think that's the meaning. I think it's just a phrase somebody has heard before. But yeah, it is an argument. You'll hear people say that from the anti-gun crowd that the Founding Fathers didn't didn't plan, or they were when they were writing the Second Amendment, they were thinking of muzzle loading firearms, kind of thing. Yeah, of course, the obvious comeback to that is, yeah, that's right. Just like the First Amendment, they meant for us to be writing with and communicating with quill pens too, and not have cell phones and computers and the internet and all of that, and email, right? So that's the obvious comeback to that. What the founding fathers wanted was for us to have the capability of being in charge of our government. The entire Constitution is about that in the Bill of Rights, and actually to be equally armed as much as possible. And I guess at least with small arms, that keeps things in check, more than people realize, right? So anyway, that's just such a lame argument. I mean, gosh, it almost is not worthy of debate or arguing. Just throw the First Amendment back at them, and go buy them a quill pen and a bottle of ink. Someone that tells you that. So okay, I'll buy you a gun today. I'm gonna go buy you a muzzle loader and a fountain pen or a quill pen and a bottle of ink if I can find it. So you'll be in keeping with the Constitution. So what else can I ramble about? I think I'm going to shoot some specials now. Enough Magnums, right? You think? I don't know. I ought to give the young people some advice. What do I know? Nothing. I don't know. Just keep in mind, young folks, that nobody has a direct line to the truth. A lot of people act like they do, kind of what I've been talking about. A lot of people think they do, but nobody really does. You don't, I don't. We all just have opinions based on our experience, and sometimes based on no experience, right? But we don't really know. And it's kind of when you get right down to it, the folks that are trying to run our lives and being just really bizarre, it's an extreme form of arrogance. Get right down to it, to think you know best for everybody else, all right? And just keep in mind how arrogant that is. If you start to fall into that thinking when you get into, I don't know, college, or you're 20 or 25 and think you know everything, because we typically do when we're in that age group, you don't. I didn't, you don't. Nobody does still, right? Knows everything, and you could be wrong right now about what you think. I could be wrong about everything I think, So it's just an incredible form of arrogance to think that any of us knows what's right for everybody else, So again, that's what led me to the libertarian side of things, So I'm going to shoot some 44 Special. Look how dirty this thing is getting. Isn't that sweet? It's a thing about a firearm. If anybody's watching this that doesn't shoot, they do get dirty. It doesn't have to be a muzzle loader and black powder. Look at that. That's black. Looks like black powder. They just get dirty, and it's not a bad thing because they clean up just like new, as long as you don't abuse them in some way. That's one reason I go ahead and fire antique firearms I have. I know what I'm doing, believe it or not. I don't fire anything that's going to be damaging to them. If it's a cartridge gun, use black powder or light loads, and I clean them up well. And Ballistol is a good preservative, and I soak them, and I just take my time. I get them good and clean, and just like they were. Think about a firearm. You've seen some of my vintage firearms, whether it's an old Colt or those muzzle loaders. No telling how many times some of those have been fired and cleaned and fired and cleaned, through the decades and centuries, in some cases, century and a half. Let's see, I don't know what the oldest firearm I have. Is it the Mississippi rifle, 1850 on it. What am I forgetting? Seems like I have one in the 40. Well, that's an 1841 model, but it's a Mississippi rifle. That one was made in 1850. I'm thinking in terms of originals. I think that's the oldest firearm that I have, right? Yeah. But anyway, you know, the Colts and different things from the 1870s, 1880s. They've no telling how many times they've been, you know, fired, but they're not really rust. Patina, there's no finish on some of them, but they're not rusted up. They've generally been taken care of. All right. Oh, let's see how long it takes a special to get out to the gong. More physics lessons. Here we go. Well, have to hit it. Yeah, it's holding too low. Still too low. All right, one more. Okay, I brought it up on that one. Whew. Have you ever been, well, you can tell it took longer, right? Have you ever been shooting? I'm sure you have, and you know kind of where you need to hold. And of course, you're coordinating the trigger brake with your sight picture, and I don't know about you, some people may come down. I like to kind of come up on it. And I know I'm almost up far enough, and I'm trying to, when I get up there, I'm going to let that trigger break, but I let it break too soon, and I know it as soon as I pull the trigger. So, I don't know. I'm sure we all do that occasionally. Yeah, those are fun. The 44 Special is a special, no doubt about it, and I think I'm mixing these up. No, that's a special. No, I am mixing them up. Oh well, I'll sort them out. Not that big a deal. So I'm a little bit early this week, but I got a lot going on, and there's big rain coming, and I'm got contractors coming in and some stuff like that. But again, I'm in the week, and it's a pretty nice day as I stand here, right? And yeah, I don't want to over revolver you, after that 686, but at least you got some AR action this week, and it kind of depends on what action you got. I mean, I posted LWRC, but because still a lot of people just don't even follow what's posted. They just find them randomly, and most of you probably keep up with the videos as they're posted, I would guess. But then a lot of people just whatever suggested, and it is funny too, because occasionally I'll see comments about, I saw one just recently. One, well, how come you're still supporting the NRA? It was a video, like 4 or 5 year old video, that kind of thing. And so people just don't look at the date on a video. Yeah, it's just weird because that's one of the first things I look at. I just like to know when they posted it. Not that it matters. Well, it could matter, depending on what the video is on, what the topic is. If, things have changed dramatically. If you see a video, I don't know, about the price of ammo or something like that, well, it might be interesting to know when it was posted, right? But anyway, yeah, people come to the videos in so many different ways. They don't know. They're new, and they don't know anything about our relationship we used to have. Well, it wasn't really a relationship. They were just a sponsor, the NRA, but that's been like 2 or 3 years now. And so it's just kind of weird how people come in and different times. They don't see a lot of videos, and they see one and they see different. So every video has to be kind of its own thing. But that's one way the Sunday videos help, and it's really obvious if somebody's not watching the Sunday videos, right? It's pretty clear because I try to keep you posted on things. Kind of what's going on, currently what my thinking is on something, and, for whatever that's worth. So anyway, I won't bore you too long today. I've probably yacked enough, and I'll take a few more shots, and there's something else I was going to mention about a firearm we did recently. I don't recall what it was, but what do we want to shoot? You're not going to make me shoot those hot ones again, are you? Let me shoot some of my moderate Magnums. All right. It really is fun hand loading. I mean, I hate to make a big deal out of it right now because I would not be doing any hand loading if it were not for the fact that I had a bunch of primers stocked away in an ammo can for the last 20 years, literally. And again, during some primer shortage or before a primer, whatever, between primer shortages and ammo shortages, I just went ahead and bought some. Actually, I have some of these 5,000 round cases of primers, you know, in that ammo can. It's a big ammo can. And I wasn't even sure what I had in there. I knew I had a mix of small primer and large primer pistol. And I was fortunate. I even found 1,000, I didn't know I had 1,000 large rifle primers that I was able to use in the 4570. Wow, I didn't know I had those. I'd forgotten about that because I have loaded 4570s using regular pistol, large pistol, standard or Magnum primers, and they work okay. But I was surprised and pleased to find those. But so I wouldn't be reloading either if I hadn't stocked some up, you know, or I'd be paying whatever they are, 10 cents a piece or something, you know. I don't know what they're selling for now, but it's not good. It's not pretty. I know that. But when things get back to normal, if that ever happens, or more nearly normal, it might be an endeavor you want to try because it is enjoyable. It's relaxing, and it's not cheap. But I don't know. It's just you can tailor the loads for your gun that you want. Whatever. There are some things where, well, 44 Magnum's kind of an example. You can buy some really nice factory ammo like this, and this isn't the hottest factory ammo, you know, Federal, but it's nice and warm. It's Magnum for sure, and then you can buy 44 Special, yeah, which is very comfortable to shoot, but it's not as easy to find. I mean, do you see any 44 Magnum out there that's kind of a moderate Magnum load? That is a Magnum. It's a Magnum case. It's somewhere, in other words, between these, you know, and you know, so you can do like I did, started doing so many years ago, you know, loading something between there that's not a barn burner, but it's also pretty much hotter than a 44 Special. And that's really the load I have shot so much in my Model 29 8 3/8. You know, I talk about having over 70,000. It's got to be 75,000 at least now in that Model 29. And I was reminded also as I got back into hand loading this week how I knew that because I tracked the primers. I used to back when I was loading even so much, I would save the primer. You know what the primer boxes look like. You know. And then they come in a box of 1,000, and then, you know, and I would just stack those under the loading table. And it was a period of time where 44 was about all I was shooting, and I was loading it like crazy and shooting and loading. And just through the years, I kept track of it. I'd stack like 30,000 or 30 of those boxes, and then another 20, another 30. And so it's not like I'm just one of those guys that, you know, oh, how many rounds you got through that gun? Oh, I don't know, probably 8,000. I don't know. Yeah. It's not a hip shot. You know, I actually tracked it by the primers. You know, now I can't give you the exact number. I'm not that anal and don't care that much. But I did track it. Just a simple way to do it. Just stack those primers up because you could literally have those primers the way they're packed. I could have a stack just like this, like under the bench, you know, of like 50,000 of the primers, you know, and I would be a little bigger than that, but. And I had big bags. I think I still have one of those. You know, those things might come in handy when I moved here for something. Just the little plastic primer tray, they come in 100. I had huge bags just full of those. I mean, like a big garbage bag, you know, and I moved around. I think a couple of them, and I kept one. I may still have it somewhere. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of rounds. If they had been the hottest rounds, you know, hotter like this, I don't know, the gun may have had a harder time, but that's how I know how many. Plus they're lead, and that's easier on the rifling. As far as I can tell, there's no change in that that firearm, that 8 3/8 Model 29, and its accuracy, its inherent accuracy. Okay, it still shoots right on, at least as well as I can shoot. So, but lead doesn't really damage the rifling. Well, it doesn't wear the rifling much at all. I mean, it would take, wow. In terms of lead rounds to actually wear down the rifling, I don't know how many it would take, probably 1 million to start wearing it down much. Jacketed bullets are harder on rifling. The copper, and brass and copper, are hard on rifling. So, anyway, no charge for that. Okay, I got it loaded with my moderate Magnums. On a cool day, they don't feel so great either. One of the problems I have is loaded, but then I like these grips too, just these big Magnum, these big wooden grips. I could put some, some Hogue or whoever rubber grips on my Model 29, 629s, and they'd be much more comfortable to shoot. But I get these big old wooden grips. I leave them on there because I just like the way they feel. And you do get a little more bite with those. You all who have shot these know what I'm talking about, right? All right, let's try that gong again with these. So, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's try left-handed. I think I meant to, though. Yeah. So as per my lecture last week on ballistics and everything, so why is that the situation here? So with 44 Special, I need to hold a little bit higher on the gong. With this, just about broke my phone. With this barrel length. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, the various factors in that equation. The hotter rounds, like I was just shooting, I was holding on the bottom of the gong and hitting it. And you get more recoil, especially with a shorter barrel. And I think that affects throwing the bullet up more than, that's one of the factors there. Like I was saying last week, if you're shooting up really close, sometimes the faster bullet hits lower. But as you get out there, then it just makes a difference. The power of the round, makes a difference. So I was able to hold lower. But then again, it throws up it could be the recoil that's causing it to shoot higher. It doesn't really matter. You right down to it. You got to adjust your sights for where the round you're shooting needs to be held. And that's another advantage too. Finding a load you like, whether it's a really hot load or a Magnum load, and just knowing where to hold with it. That's so important if you're gonna, compete or whatever, and or you just want to shoot well. Just get a load and stick with it. That's what you want to do. Get a load and stick with it. Like I've done. I've changed mine a little bit in the 44 because I changed powder and different things, but I've kept it kind of in the same ballpark in terms of power factor. And then with like 45 ACP, I used to load thousands and thousands of just the lead 230 grain bullets, and I was competing with them and shooting them a lot. And I had a load, Winchester 231. I wouldn't tell you if I did remember, but it was a certain level. It was just major power factor, and in USPSA. And I set that load and that press for that in 1980, about 89, I guess, 88, 89, along in there. And if I were to load some of that today, it'd be the same load. The powder measure is still set for the same thing, the same powder. I don't change. That's been, over 30 years, 32, 33 years. How's that for consistent? That's what you want with a firearm. Get a load that works and does what you want it to do, and then don't change. Don't change. Shooting a handgun is hard enough. It's hard enough. You don't need other variables. And, you know, you don't need to like, oh, let's change the sights out again today, you know. And I saw that in shooting through the years at ranges and in competitions and things. There was always that guy that is, hey, I'm trying out a new load today, or a different bullet, you know. And even in silhouette shooting and trying out different powder, and there's always a newer, greater powder. There's always the newest, greatest powder. Y'all that know what I'm talking about, some of you. And so everybody's switching to that powder and changing their load and stuff. And now some types of shooting, it doesn't make as much difference. But like in silhouette shooting, and even in IPSC maybe, but just depends. But you really want to get a powder, a load, and whether it's a factory load or it's a hand load, that it works. And some of the criteria, some of the things you want to think about, okay, is this powder, if you're hand loading, is this powder going to be available? Is it a common powder? Is this bullet going to be available? Maybe you want a 230 grain jacket, you want I don't know, some kind of hollow point, you want just a castelet, whatever it is it going to be available in the numbers I'm going to want and I'm going to load, you know, today, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, or is it some weird thing that may not be available later, you know? And here I am adjusting my dies for this bullet, you know, because it changes based on where the crimping groove might be and all those sorts of things. And so you want to, you know, get something that works, stick with it, you know, eliminate the ammunition as a huge variable. Shooting handgun is hard enough. And you folks that shoot rifles at long range for extreme accuracy, that sort of thing, you've got the same things you're dealing with there. People that do the bench rest shooting, rifling, I don't know a lot about that because it doesn't appeal to me, and I don't do it. But I've seen videos on it. I know some people that do it. Man, they're scientists, basically, is what they are. They bench rest that rifle, and it becomes a science. They sort their brass. They weigh their brass, make sure the brass weighs the same. Some of them, you know, measure it, and even after they load whatever they're shooting, you know, long range, modern rifles, that kind of thing. I think after they load their brass, they get their rounds loaded. They weigh each one. They weigh each powder charge, of course, and they make sure all the brass is the same manufacturer. And I mean, it's the bullets. Someone probably weighed the bullets before they put them in there, in case they find one that weighs an extra grain. I don't know. I mean, there's no limit to what they do to eliminate all variables, you know, which is smart. It's just smart. They've put a lot of money in a firearm that is about as accurate as it can be. You know, some hot-shot bolt-action rifle maybe. And so you don't want other variables with your ammunition. You want consistency. And even if it's, maybe it's not even the ideal round, like handgun or rifle. Maybe there's a better powder you could be using. Oh, there's not much difference. It's usually it's the shooter for the most part, but maybe there's a bullet that's slightly more accurate. I keep hearing someone over back. Oh, it's not on my place. I don't know what's going on over there. Something about it, maybe the brass you're using, again, rifle or handgun, that would be a little bit better, or the powder, the bullet supposedly is a little more accurate bullet, or I don't know what it might be. But you know, that doesn't matter as much as using the same one, as long as they're made consistently, using the same one, you know, all the time, you know, just not switching around, I think, is one of the keys there. So that's true for anything. If you're throwing darts, you know, whatever you're learning to do, the consistency, same trigger pull, same sights, same load, and all that helps a lot. So no charge for that, no charge. Okay, I'll shoot 6 more, and then I'm going to make you all leave, whether you want to or not, okay? Well, I've probably got a target or two here that needs to be hit. I have wounded a 2-liter down there. I don't know if y'all can see it, the red one, he's half empty. I'm not sure when I wounded him, because I don't know. I don't know. Must have got a piece of shrapnel off the cowboy or something early on. Look at the video and see. It happened when y'all first arrived, I think. I think the first 6 shots I fired, that happened. So Good old 40. Now these are hollow points, so these are devastating. See, these are Federal 44 Special lead hollow points. Nice bullet. Nice bullet. I'd carry that. In fact, I have. I'd carry that as a defensive round in my little 44 Special or in this. Okay. 4-inch 629. Really nice all around firearm. Okay. Who wants to get hit? How about that 2-liter? Alright, we finished him off. Now that I know where to hold, I think, we'll see if I can put one on the gong. Alright, I'm going to try the red plate. Alright. Got one left for Mr. Cowboy. Yep. Shoot him with a 6-gun. Yeah, I know some people that they won't buy a revolver that holds 7. It's a 6-gun, and by golly, it ought to be a 6-gun, right? So she's all dirty now. She calls me to get it dirty, and I know it's another revolver Sunday. Sorry about that, but actually I'm not. I like revolvers, and they are great guns to go to the range. They make a great range experience. There's no doubt about it. Okay. And you know, if you're sitting around, you're not shooting as many rounds probably, and you're loading it, talking about it. Maybe there's somebody else at the range. You go to the range and you're talking guns and you're shooting, and you can have a whole lot of enjoyment out of just like one box of ammo, or maybe even less. You know, with a revolver too, you have that advantage. Just mess around, and if when you go to the shooting range, I don't know, you may be training or whatever, but if you're going for enjoyment, I've never thought the number of rounds fired made it more enjoyable or less enjoyable necessarily. You know, I mean, you want to fire it and enjoy it, but if you got to fire this 100 times in order to have fun, 30 times or 50 times doesn't get it for you. It's no fun. I don't know. You need to slow down a little bit and quit taking life so seriously and just enjoy it. You know, shoot a different target, a different distance or something. You know, it's the joy, as I'm trying to say, should not be determined by the round count necessarily, you know, within reason. Okay? So a revolver helps you slow down a little bit and enjoy things, just like a single shot, right? So I'll let you go, and I'm glad you did show up. You'd better show up if I'm here. It's very rude for you all not to show up, because I'm usually here, and I'm usually on time, you notice. Yeah, you notice at the beginning of the video, I'm usually here. And yeah, it's okay if you maybe come in late, because some of you are just going to be late. You know, some people are early birds like me, some people are late occasionally, but as long as you get here, that's the main thing. So I really appreciate you all watching, and you know, we're coming up on Christmas for most of, well, I'll say most of you, I guess most of you, a lot of you. So I hope the holidays are being enjoyable for you. You're getting to spend some time with friends and family, and whether you celebrate Christmas or not, you're having some good times. And if you were affected by these crazy tornadoes, man, sure sorry. And I hope all that aid is getting to you. I know it's just rolling in, but it's still just administering that. And you know, if you don't have a house to go to, and you don't know what you're going to do, and you know, I mean, it's going to be like when the tsunami hit. You know, there's going to be a tsunami of money. It's already coming, and I you'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's just going to be a traumatic. I mean, it's one thing to lose your house and lose maybe everything you own, but you know, some of those same people, you think about it, that lost their house, they also maybe lost a child in this thing, or a parent, or a grandparent, or an uncle or aunt. They lost relatives and friends in addition to their house and everything they own being gone to the wind. You know, I mean, that's crazy, especially if they were awakened late at night, or they were not ready, not prepared, which most were not, in the middle of the night. I'm trying to say, they may not even have their wallet or purse or any of that, and it's just gone. Everything is gone. Their identity, their IDs. It's just so. It's hard to imagine. It really. That's about as bad as it gets. Just have to, easy for me to say, but just remember you are alive, and all that stuff can be replaced. Your friends and family can't be if you had losses there, of course, but tough. We're thinking about you, and it's just tough. It's just tough. I think it's why I woke up. It seems like something is disturbing the universe that badly. Like there really wasn't any strong wind or anything. I just woke up like at 2:10 or something, and it just makes sense that I would wake up for some reason, because just a few miles north of me, people are being blown away and killed, and west of me, and it's coming this way. It's just, you like to think that in the order of things in the universe that it would be hard for people to sleep with that kind of craziness and misery going on just a few miles away. So, but anyway, it's just horrific to think about, and especially winter coming on. Got a little bit of a reprieve for a few days this week, but weather-wise. But it's going to be rainy now, and you get cold, and it's just trying to salvage what's left of those people's homes and everything. So anyway, do what you can for those folks, and and take care of yourself. I'm glad you came out. I really appreciate you tuning in, your support on Sunday Shoot Around. I enjoy these. Like I said, you may see me in the reloading shed here one day if the weather's too bad. But it's nice to be able to get out here and do a little shooting and enjoy the sunshine. Okay, and again, it's not too cold today. Just cold enough to when you're shooting and you get something with a lot of recoil, it hurts a little more. Y'all remember that line? You always think I'm leaving, don't you? That was it in Unforgiven, that Clint Eastwood movie, where it's one of my favorite scenes where what's the English Bob, comes to town, and Gene Hackman, Little Bill, whatever, and he's got his deputies are all in the office. They're loading up their guns. They're going to go talk to him, whatever, and they're all loading their guns up. And one of my favorite lines is the guy, I think he has one arm, he's sitting on the desk, and he loads his own. They load his gun for him, and then he unloads it and loads it back, and all that kind of funny stuff. And they say, "My God, we loaded your gun, or whatever." He said, "Well, I just don't want to get killed for lack of shooting back." That's where that line comes from. But also the I lost track of where I was going with that. Let me think. Let me pull my ear, and it'll jar my memory. Well, let me take two more shots and I'll think about it. Okay. I don't want you to think I'm your president or anything here. Lost my train of thought totally. Okay, I think 2 rounds will bring it back. How's that? Let's put them on the gong. All right, Smith & Wesson, which way do you turn? You turn the opposite way, so let's get you around there. Yeah, okay. All right, my ear's on. Everything's blowing away. I'm at the end on a miss. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to let that happen. Let's put a hot one on something right here. That was a Magnum. That was definitely hot. Okay, so actually, it didn't come to me. I was going somewhere with that conversation, and like a lot of meaningless conversations, I lost track. But it was something about Unforgiven. I'll look at the tape, the video tape. Yeah, we use a lot of tape these days, right? And it'll come to me, and I'll share it with you next week. It was something about Unforgiven. The whole reason it came to my mind, and about English Bob. They're getting ready for him. Something in the sheriff's office besides my favorite line about getting killed for lack of shooting back, and some of the bullets. Something that the guy said. I don't remember. I've lost it, whatever it was. But I will. If it comes to me, I'll share it next week, and I will charge you for it. I promise. No, I really appreciate you coming out and your support of the channel. People that support us, because it just makes everything work, and we're still having fun, and we plan to continue. And I'll see you next Sunday. Life is good. Okay. As soon as I turned the camera off, it came to me. I was thinking, what in the world was that I was thinking of, that I would just lose it totally? So I backtracked my mental tracks, whatever. The whole reason I brought that up was the fact I was talking about the weather and how it was kind of chilly, and how recoil, that last round kind of reminded me, I guess, just took a few seconds for it to hit me, is one of the things, I think it's in that scene where in Unforgiven, they're in the sheriff's office and they're getting their guns ready and all that to go arrest or talk to English Bob or something. Arrest him, yeah. And one of them says something about not wanting to get shot. Or he says, I'd hate to get shot when it's cold, because when it's cold, everything hurts more. I always think it's so funny. Yeah, and with me, I hate to. You ever have a limb slap you in the face? You walk through the woods or something like that, or recoil in a firearm when it's cold. It does. It just hurts more, right, when it's cold. And then when he said that, he didn't want to get shot because it was cold. It would hurt more. I thought, oh man, that one took the cake. Anyway, that's what I was trying to dig out of my lame brain, and it just took a few seconds. Sorry. Okay. It's my presidential moment. Life is good.